Yeah. So, hi everyone. Welcome to our weekly webinar session. So glad to have all of you here. So if you have any questions, please, as usual, put them in the chat box. So today we're going to discuss the updates on CEDAR localization meeting, also on data and access control. And also, I think, Professor Miriam, we have an update from steering committee, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So, would you like to start an update from that one, or?
Yeah, that is fine. Shall I do that, or Francesca? Francesca, what is your thinking?
Yeah, Prof, I think you should do that because you're chairing the steering committee, so you're effectively representing the project on the steering committee. So you should do that.
Well, the steering committee met this morning. It was a very good meeting. We had all the project funders there, the experts, the members of the financial committee and the requirements and specification committee, and the coordinators of the countries for deployment, so including Uganda and Zimbabwe. Professor Francesca gave a report on the implementation of the project, so that report was received, and Professor Francesca was commended on the preparations that were done and the work that had been done through the Google project, and also the own contributions of many of us here, many who are not necessarily paid by any project as yet. So a lot of kudos to everybody. In fact, Professor Francesca was asked, with so much expansion, if the span of control was still possible, but she argued that the teams are very self-led, and that at the coordination she is able to tie everything together, so that she felt it was fine. So there was a lot of praise for where the project is. We went through the architecture, which had been approved yesterday at the meeting that you chaired, Aliyah, and will probably also take feedback on, with all the other big programs under fair implementation. So the architecture was presented. I think we should present it here today, probably as well, as the implementing architecture now. So that was also accepted by the steering committee. We had a discussion on the findings of the committee of requirements and specifications. That committee by Professor Francesca and by Han set out the reasons for this program to work with CEDAR based on the flexibility of the templates. That was an important element. The data bulk input, which was another important element. The consistency with the other bigger project and creation of efficiency. The provision of training so that the data stewards can work independently to also adapt the tooling to specific situations in each of our implementing places, and the ability to localize the tool. So that was adopted by the steering committee. So now we are able to move forward. Then there were also some practical issues and some issues related to the implementation and financial implementation that were also discussed. And that will help the project carry forward. So all in all, very positive meeting. The VC was there as the chair of VODAN Africa. So yeah, he was very grateful for all the work that has been done. I don't know, Francesca, if this is these are the main points, or that you'd like to add anything to this report.
Thank you, Prof. I guess that summarizes the main points at the meeting, and the fact that the team were appreciative of our efforts, that in spite of all the constraints, we were able to make such progress. And of course, that I also made a commitment that we're going to keep to the timeline, because we have the capacities to deliver the project based on the strength of the membership of the network. I guess, yes.
And it was, Aliyah also, of course, explained that although VODAN Africa is the core of the project in terms of the deliverables and leads on the implementation, that there is a very productive collaboration with the Asian members of the team. And I think there's a lot of appreciation for that.
Okay, thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. Yeah, so I think that is useful for us, and that is very, very productive and efficient for us as a network. So glad to hear that very much. Okay, so then I think we'll move forward with the CEDAR localization update. So I will give a brief summary from yesterday's meeting. Or Professor Miriam, would you like to give a summary from yesterday's meeting?
Why don't you start? And if there's anything to add, I will do that.
All right. So yeah, yesterday we had a meeting on CEDAR localization. It wasn't as usual because we had so many people participating in that meeting. So it was very efficient and a very productive one. So there were a lot of questions raised during the meeting, and I think it's gonna be very useful, something to reflect on. The main thing is that yesterday we were given the presentation by Eric Scholz on the dashboard creation on the dashboard. So it was mainly presented as, for instance, they created CEDAR templates and then used CEDAR API to present that in a health RI dashboard. So how is that works for them for their projects, and how it might work and applicable for our case. So yeah, and there was a lot of questions arised regarding vocabulary creation, controlled vocabulary, reusability of that vocabulary, and also yes, the main thing for yesterday's meeting was the presentation of architecture. So there are two-leveled dashboards and in that architecture. So I think Professor Miriam can share that architecture in order to show the community how it looks like. And the next point is that the bulk input, there was an update from Getu and Samson, which also was uploaded on a GitHub, which is a VODAN account. So the team will be, based on that, will be given an assignment during this week, and we will be in touch with that assignment. So I think that's it from my side. Professor Miriam, if you have any update, please go ahead. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I think here you can see the architecture, right? So this is the architecture that Aliyah proposed yesterday to the meeting. I mean, this has gone through many iterations and discussions. And the meeting was attended by the other big fair data producing project. So there was ZonMW, which is the big Dutch funder. Eric Schultes has been doing many metadata for machine workshops there. I think there are 69 research projects under that program. And then there was also LMC and the personal health train. And so there were a number of colleagues, Health RI, who are all working with fair data within a COVID-related context. So we discussed the architecture of our project and then also the relationship between our architecture and their architecture. So here you see, I think you all recognize this now, that we have the input, the bulk input that of data that is possible, can be individual, but can also with bulk input, which Geto and Samson have programmed into the embeddable editor. Then the templates that are based on CEDAR following the HIS, which Mariam is leading on with the controlled vocabulary. Then the visiting in repositories in residence, and from where the input is done in a kind of seamless way with the HIS. And then really the results, the production of the results, which is a dashboard at the level of the clinic, of the health facilities, the publication of the existence of the data in the on the internet as a fair data point, as a findable, reachable point, could also be a CEDAR data point, whatever that would be, and then the final dashboard between all the facilities as a VODAN community. And we discussed the layout of this. In this final dashboard is where we can really find also the convergence with the other programs. And Tunisia will lead that, because the Tunisia program is actually also part of the other COVID research program. So they are very, very, very good bridge. These dashboards will give real time data. And the good thing is that this will kind of limit the Sparkle queries to the queries that make sense for the final dashboard. So that means that we can know which they are, they can be listed, they can be agreed, and each of the queries can be audited in terms of that it is ascertained that the query does that and only that in relation to the data. So in that sense, this contributes to the access and control work that Putu is leading, in that for each of these arrows, you can present a kind of a stoplight structure where the partner facility can agree on what it agrees to do and not do. So that also is the case here for the final dashboard, that it is in principle is possible that the facility agrees to the visiting of the data for the queries on each of the one that we have selected for that data dashboard that will be presented. Well, it was checked and confirmed by all of the technical leaders whether this was feasible. So Eric Schultes, our trainer from before, Eric Flickenschild, our collaborator from the Leiden University Medical Center, for health, Arai Rita, who works on the ZonMW project, and the representative for CEDAR, John Graybiel. They all agreed to the feasibility of this, both in terms of the realization of this in our given time, as also the convergence of this with the other initiatives, which means that it really starts to become bigger also in terms of what you can see coming out at the level of the dashboards. I think that this is also attractive, hopefully, I think so, from the perspective of the health information systems on the African side, in the sense that you have here a dashboard at the level of the facilities which can comply completely with whatever policy or regulatory frameworks are in place at the level of the facility. But also that this integrates very well within DHIS and could even be an integrated system in DHIS in the future, or there could be all kinds of relevant uptakes at that level, and it doesn't interfere or intervene in the DHIS deliverable as it is at present. In terms of the access and control, it means that the tooling, the number one tooling relates to the agreement that we have already in place inside VODAN. This is a document that Professor Francesca has, and that has set up, and that every data producer in VODAN, Africa and Asia would have to sign and comply with. So we should also be audited that compliance is there. Then the underlying agreements that, then the fair equivalency, which then translates the VODAN agreement into a number of data processing points that are relevant in each location in terms of being compliant with the regulatory policy framework in that particular place. So the fair equivalency will have to be done in each by each partner at national level, regional level, and facility level. And then I think Puto will be working with Eric Flickenshield in the stop light process of this architecture, which then in detail allows all of the data producers to identify what they agree with in terms of data sharing and data access. Yeah, I think so. I think that this is the particular architecture towards the deployment in the facilities. Then in addition and next to it, there is the data deployment of research data on COVID, which in the Dutch context is a ZonMW project. In our context is the Tunisia project, and could also in the future be other research projects. And it was agreed yesterday that Tunisia will do that bridge. And I saw already today that the emails were coming of the Tunisia team to work with the ZonMW team. So they will be reporting back here on the integration of that in the final VODAN dashboard. If we choose to do that, or that we have two parallel dashboards from the research side and the VODAN side. That is something that I still think can be decided. There are different options there that we can consider. But this is the minimal viable product that now is the agreement, the common agreement of what we need to deliver within the timetable of the FMO projects. That's it, Alia, I think. But if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you very much for this update. Is there any question related to this architecture or just in general CEDAR localization? So you can ask. Okay, there is a question from Bert. Yeah, Bert, please go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. Is there already an idea in terms of the specifications for the dashboard? Do we have a feeling exactly what we want to show in the dashboard? Has that already been defined?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that is something that we need to work on.
And do we have a plan to bring a couple of smart people into one Zoom session to define that? Yeah, I think that, I mean, I don't know, that I'm going to hand back to Francesca on that, because I don't coordinate the technical teams, but it is obvious that we need to have a team for the dashboard development, both at the local level and the aggregate level. So that is for sure the case. And I can also see that there needs to be, but that was, I think, Francesca, that was agreed yesterday, that there will be a collaboration with the Health RI dashboard. So some of the data points we might consider might be common data points. At the moment, what was clear at the Health RI dashboard was that there are basically two functionalities to the dashboard. One is related to the participants and the where and the what and the why. Which we could also do, because it would be very interesting to on the dashboard see, like, you know, you have a facility here in Aksum, yeah, in Tigray. So that and you could even have a geo visibility thing on that. So that's one thing. That is the level Health RI has done based on the CEDAR templating that they have done in relation to all of the research, the 61 or 69 research projects. And then on the other hand, you have the substance data, which could be first of all numbers in terms of how many patients tested positive on COVID-19, how their age, I don't know. I mean, I'm just making this up, but I think it will be probably in the first instance, particularly counts, that will be the easiest, but also interesting to do. And of course, here for the proof of concept or the minimum viable product, the most important thing is to get something that actually shows that we can do it, and not at the last proof of concept where it was very technical, we go over the internet and yes, we can reach, but that it actually gets into a readable product in which the visualizations can be used by people who are not computer science experts. Maybe that is really the point where we are reaching, that we need to start, now that the architecture is clear, we need to start thinking beyond what does it look like, what is the excitement for a computer scientist, but also what is the excitement for a lay person, what do they get out of it, because that is going to be our selling point for the next phase. So the dashboards need to not necessarily be complex, but they need to be interesting. Francesca?
Yes, Prof, that's right. I'm going to make 2 points. The first comment on for the convergence with the collaboration with the health RI. Putu will be speaking on that later because we just came from a meeting with Eric Flickenchild and the other members of the access and control team. And then the architecture, this architecture has been expanded into something bigger, incorporating the work at the LUMC and the Dutch COVID-19 program of the Health R&I or something, sorry. Yeah, Putu will speak on that later. We have the architecture fused into the architecture of the VODAN Africa and Asia projects. And then secondly, in terms of the visualization for the dashboard, for the hospitals, of course, we're in talks, we are implementing this in 20 hospitals. So as part of our requirements, we have left a blank space for what the hospitals, they kind of, the data they would like to view for analytics. So even if we have 15 viewable analytics, for example, it could be 7 that is needed at some point, or 5 at some point, or 1 at some point. And then there will also be different access level. It's part of the work that is being done by Putu and Eric at the LUMC. There's going to be different access level that different categories of users will have different levels of view. On the part of the VODAN Africa, we're interested in being able to query the system and then within the VODAN community and then have a report. So like Professor Miriam had suggested, yes, we're going to have a team, a kind of a sub-team to take a decision on that, but at the level of the hospitals, we can't just unilaterally decide on what views will be available, but we need to actually know what data they would need, what kind of analytics they generally do within the hospitals and clinics, so that we can tailor the dashboard to display that as it's at the time it is needed, or whatever it is needed at a particular time. Yes, but I don't know if that's kind of satisfies your question for now. You're on mute.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was on mute and I was saying yes. Thank you very much. But I fully agree, you know, we should have something relatively simple, but that's very intuitive, also for the non-technical people.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I do.
Yeah, good.
Okay, then thank you very much for this update, for this for the question as well. That was very something to think about. So moving to the next point, I would like to ask Putu to get some updates on the data and access and control. So Putu, yes, go. Thank you very much.
Can I share a screen, Ali?
You can share it. So I think you already have the permission for that.
Well, actually, we just finished the discussion with Eric Flickensill, but I want to report the result of the yesterday's discussion in data access and control group. So basically, an architecture should have a principle, and it is data access and control and security, and we should make policies and mechanism. Policies is a statement that what kind of regulation that we should apply in the architecture, and also mechanism is about how to achieve the statement or the purpose of the statement in the policy. So then Professor Miriam suggests us to, as Professor Miriam explained before, we use the current tools. The first tools is the African countries agreement. So that's the first tools. So we can check identify the statement that related to data access and control. And the second tools is the fair equivalency framework. So we should finish all of the fair equivalency from the African countries. And the third step or the third tools is to check one by one the architecture part, or identify the challenge that related to data access and control. And also Eric proposed actually planned about the questionnaire, but still waiting for the other person. But I think I will start to discuss about this with Eric Flickensield, and we don't need to wait for the other subject matter to create the questionnaires, but we try to create our own questionnaire about the impact assessment or risk assessment in this architecture. So basically that's the four document, or maybe the last document that we can use is the agreement in the between Ministry of Health and also the clinic or hospital. It's about the if any data access control and security that they want to achieve in this architecture. And basically Eric Flickensield split this architecture into three domains. So the first domain is data source platform, and the second domain is Andrea, it is digital research environment, and the last part is the CEDAR FDP. But what is the underline of this three domain is the LUMC and VODAN will work in the same in the same architecture, but with the different policies. So we will detect the challenge in access control and security in each domain, but we work with the different policies. So there will be a same architecture but with the different policies. So that basically the idea of Eric Flickensield, and I'm still I'm starting to check one by one the technology such as the Opal link and also digital research environment. It called Andrea, and also Eric Flickensield also asking about how CEDAR will be the fair data point, but it will be like in the domain of CEDAR in convergence with fair data point. But he emphasized to check that challenge. I will share this document to Alia. Maybe Alia can answer that challenge because we also will check the access and control from that challenge. So yeah, that's all, Alia. I will stop there.
Thank you very much, Puto. Thank you very much. So, is there any question related to that? So if we don't have any question, I think we can move to the next part. So it's going to be the updates on the articles. So Dr. Sakinat, would you like to speak to that?
Yes, Alia, I think I shared this. I think I shared the link with you. Can you share it?
Sure, just a second.
Yes. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of our VODAN weekly webinar. Just some brief reports on the article. Now we have about 11 clear articles now ready for editing that we can say categorically that we are going to submit them for editing. We showed this last week, so there's no more change, no major changes here. Alia, can we move to the next slide? Next slide, okay. Yes, these are all the articles, all the 11 articles that are ready for editing. Next slide, Alia.
Dr. Sakinat, are you here?
Let's see. Have we lost Dr. Sakinat?
I think we lost her.
Probably she's having network challenges because our speaker is, microphone is open, but
Maybe
perhaps Misha would like to continue.
maybe Misha can take over.
Hello? Wait.
Yeah, I will check on that.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
Mr.
fantastic.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
So, as Professor Sakinat was saying, we've got a large amount of new articles. I'm in contact with Susan Sellers, who's going to edit it, and so I'll be right after the meeting. They'll all be sent to her. And the idea is that the corresponding author or the main author to communicate with will be CC'd in the emails, and then Susan Sellers will be sending the feedback directly to the main author of that, or the main contact for that that specific article. And so you'll get feedback directly from Susan Sellers and not from me or anyone else. We'll of course be CC'd in the emails to know what's going on, but aside from that, there won't necessarily be a direct contact. Can you go to the next one? Yeah, so these are all the articles where I'm following up still on, and they'll hopefully be finished soon. And if you can go back multiple ones. Another one. Another one. So another one last time. Another one? I'm sorry.
Sorry, where to go?
Can you go to the first slide? Let's go there.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have all the authors written on the side. So if that's wrong, it shouldn't be, because I've triple checked them. But if they are wrong, please send me a message and then I'll change that. So it's well written and well recorded. And I think that's all from me. I'll make the PowerPoint public so everyone can access it.
All right. Thank you very much,
Um,
Misha.
Is it a good idea to know how you will make the PowerPoint public? Because I think it's very good if everybody here checks. Like for instance, here the lead author, I don't know if this is correct, the lead author is Dr. Reginald, but the corresponding author is Ronald de Jong. It's pretty important that this information is as it is. Or we can, this is a Google Doc, so we can put a Google Doc here in the
Yeah, I'll
chat.
put it in the chat, but I'll also, yeah.
And also, what is your suggestion?
Well, I could send it to everyone by email, but that might be a bigger hassle than it's worth. I can do it if everyone, or I can put it on the drive. Does that work?
I think so, yeah.
I'll do that then.
Okay. This is very good progress. Thanks to Professor Sakinat, you, Aliyah, and Misha, and all the authors. Really incredible. It's really, really good. We are really making a lot of progress on this documentation. It's really impressive.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Dr. Sakinat and Misha, for this update on articles. So Professor Miriam, do we have anything to discuss today, or are we done? Because as I know, so if we go through agenda, we are all set. So I'm just just would like to make sure that we are really done.
Are we clear for the meeting on Monday with John and the work on the templates by Mariam? Do we need a report on that? Is that all clear? Because that's very important, right? That now we are converging that whole process of the production of the templates.
So as I know, last time Mariam and we published the spreadsheet on a GitHub. So, and the next point is going to the implementation part. So actually from our side, we are ready. So, so we have like 3 templates and we put that vocabulary in a spreadsheet. I don't know if Mariam has something to add on that. Mariam?
Well, like Aliyah said, we're now just waiting for the next instructions on how to do the implementation bit. So currently there's also I've done an additional template. So there are currently 4 of them. And I'm just trying to have vocabulary selected for all the different fields so that we can reuse the available vocabulary. Since John said that it's always best to reuse what's there first, and what's not there will be created. So that's just about it from this side. Yeah.
Good, Mariam. And I don't know, Professor Francesca, should we start discussing at this moment who would lead the team on the dashboards and the team on that interacts with the facilities? I suppose that will be Putu, because that is part of the access and control and could be part of a questionnaire in relation to the facilities to maximize the understanding of the points for the access and control. So I think that part can be Putu, but for the dashboard construction, should we have a separate team? How is your thinking, Francesca?
Yes, I agree with you. I was actually thinking about something, but he already left for Michele before this discussion came up. And as soon as, because I've been talking with him on the NUFIC project, as soon as I'm able to re-establish contact with him, I will also speak with him. But we should have a mix of both technical and implementation people in that team. We're going to need somebody who can easily understand the technical requirements and be able to implement it, especially now that I have given my word that we will conclude within the time frame of the project.
Yeah, okay, good. So yeah, I think from my side, we are good. We are still going.
The team will actually come out of the CEDAR, team. The dashboard team will come out of the CEDAR technical team, which still has Miriam, Aliyah, Getu, Putu, and of course, Samson as well.
Yeah, that is very good. Bondimu, the Ethiopia team is now starting to work on the fair equivalency documentation. Probably that will also be an article. So maybe that is a point of contact with Dr. Araya. I think Geto and Samson, they have the task, if I'm right, they have taken the task to do that. Is that right, Putu?
Sorry, Professor Miriam, what is
it's Geto? I think it's Geto and Samson who are going to do the fair equivalency analysis for the Ethiopia team. So, but it's important, Wandimu, that you know, and that if you want to connect to that, the best would be to contact Dr. Araya, who is in Addis.
Okay.
So that is that for Wandimu. We will need to, for Zimbabwe, we have already done it. So there we are good. So I think we are basically on schedule. Otherwise, I don't know. For me, I think we've discussed everything that we need to discuss. Francesca?
Yes, same from me to Prof. There is nothing else from you at this time. Yeah, oh, there is a point on certification that came up during the meeting with LUMC. I don't know if Bert is still here and I would like to speak to that, to know where we are on the certification of the certification aspect of the FDPs.
Yes, I'm still here, and I've given some text also on this, both to Eric Flickenshield and to Putu, that could be included in an article. I'm not 100% sure in which number of article that it would show up, because I think it has changed a little bit. I think it was first number 27, and then it was number 32, and then it was going to be in another one. That is not up to me, actually, you know, where we put it in. So that is maybe something that I can still discuss with Eric Flickenshield to see what the best location would be for that.
Maybe, Misha, do you have clarity where the input of Eric Flickenshield and Brett Meerman are, since you are the one who goes the article most?
So I had contact with Eric Flickenshield, and he told me that there were two articles, I believe 27 and
32, I think.
Yeah, 32. That's what I recall.
32, and that because they were both too similar, 27 was abandoned and merged into 32, and that's why you only have one left.
Okay.
That's what I understood from him.
Yeah, but I didn't see our name on the slides, which you showed earlier.
I know I put it, but it might have been deleted by accident. I'll check. I'll make sure it's. I know that it's being worked on, and I'm actively staying on it.
Good, good, excellent.
Then we're good, Aliyah. I think this is all very, very good.
So, all right. I think we reached towards the end of the meeting for today. Glad to have all of you here. So I would like to close with this point. See all of you next week at the same time as usual. Have a great week, and yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.